Hello everyone. Hola, ¿cómo están? How are you? This is Lena with Especially Made for Me. Hoping that we'll have a wonderful streaming day. We are going to be doing a unique wreath using a skeleton for Halloween. And I say unique because it's not going to be the usual rounded or swag or something like that. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to play around and hopefully you'll join me in making decisions along the way. If you've watched my tutorials before, you know I kind of get the supplies and I have an idea in my mind, but I don't completely plan it out on purpose because I want the creativity juices to flow. So hopefully you'll join me. If this is your first time here with me, please make sure that you give us a thumbs up if you're having some fun, enjoying the tutorial, learning something, or getting ideas while you're watching. Subscribe so that way you'll also get notifications by clicking on that little bell. And that way it'll be easier to find any other tutorials that we have on our list because we have quite a few. So we're not going to delay. We're going to go ahead and get started working on our project. So as usual, I'm going to go ahead and change the view of the camera so that you can still see me but off to the corner and you have a bird's eye view on our project. So I have all of the supplies just scattered around on the table and we're just gonna go with it and decide which way we're gonna start and go from there so we can have some fun. So far so good from what I can tell on the YouTube. It says we have a good connection. So if you're watching out there live, please let me know by way of comment that you're out there, just to let me know that you're out there, where you're watching from, your name, if you're comfortable with that, just so that I know there's a good connection on your end as well with regards to the streaming, because we've been having some issues the past few weeks. So I'm going to change the camera view while we do that so you can see our supplies and what we're going to be working on, and going to be moving the keyboard out of the way just so that we can get started. And this time, just be prepared. I have not done anything in advance, so we're going to do everything together. So we're going to have some fun for sure. Alrighty, so you can already see our skeleton. Maybe we should come up with a name for him. While we do, I'll tell you how to say this in Spanish. For the skeleton, we say esqueleto. So very similar, huh? We're going to be using a square wreath, but we're going to be changing things up and we're going to do the diamond side of it. We do have, oh, hello, Miss Lynn. Welcome, welcome. Where are you watching us from? So we're going to be, this is the idea that I had. We're going to actually sit him up right onto the frame. Of course, it's going to have some mesh on it, but it pretty much stays there on its own. But of course, we're going to be using some wire to tie him on there. And we're going to be using a variety of colors of mesh, but of course, not the full roll. I do have 21-inch rolls here. We have black, purple, and I have a starter that I use for some orange, because as you know, I like using my remnants. Has some remnants ribbons that we may be using. Has some other remnants mesh that I have for some lime to kind of add a little bit. My plan is to add these to the corner just to highlight those corners. And we have some little branches in black, you know, because it is for Halloween, but have to have some bright colors in there as well. So we're going to be using some of that. Our main ribbons are going to be these. I'm going to just kind of lift them up to our camera so you can see them a little bit better. So it's got a little bit of everything we're going to be using. The pumpkins and the skeleton, little ghost. We have the orange, the blank, the purple. We have it all. New Jersey. Oh my goodness, I haven't been there so long. I'm from New York myself. How is it over there? We are going to be using some little witch hats too. They're picks, but we can take them off if we decide to do that. Take the stick off, or we can use them as is. And we have the different colors as well, so we can kind of play with that. This is going to be fun. We also have some spiders. I like showing all the supplies first. In the black and the lime. This lime one is like a neon color, so it'll you'll be able to see it in the dark for sure. So I'm seeing a warning from YouTube, so hopefully it'll let me continue. Something about the data stream from what I can tell. So we also have some bats. I'll kind of hold that up so you can see it better on that bird's eye view camera. So we're going to be putting some of those on. And I did, just in case, but I'm thinking I want my bigger one. I did bring out a pumpkin that I was thinking of putting in the middle, but I'm thinking we need a bigger one. But we'll see, because we'll have a lot of stuff to fill it in. And we may be okay with that size. So that is it by way of supplies. As you can see, we have lots of stuff all over the place. So I'm going to start moving things out of the way so we can get started. We're going to need some chenille stems to put around our wreath, which it's, since our wreath form does not have the stems already, we'll have to make our own. Feeling the heat already. Whew. It gets hot in here. Do any of you out there have a arts and crafts room? And if so, does it get hot? Or are you able to run a fan? I can't run the fan because with the sounds, you probably won't be able to hear me so well. This one has a ceiling fan, but the times I've tried to use it before, it was kind of funny. Not only could you hear it turning, then you could kind of see like the shadow with the light, kind of like you can see my hand. So we have to stop using that. I'm going to put him on the floor for now. So, sorry, just got to do some cleanup here. Use my little trash can. The little branches, it does have like some kind of glitter, but it's other stuff that's falling off of it. It's almost like a black dust. I don't know if you can see any of that. You can see it there on the white. I don't know what that is, but we're gonna keep on going. Let me know as we go along if you have any questions on anything at all. We're gonna be putting some stems on our wreath form, and we're gonna start with the black because we want the black to be the main, and we want it to be our base. Hopefully that's not too loud. So I am going to just load him up so he'll be ready for when we put our stems in. We're going to be doing the poof method to do our base. And then we're going to be doing some combination of other things like the poof curl and curls and ruffles and different methods. So hopefully you'll be able to stay with me. Let's see. But I have taken those out already. My line. I have to use some orange. Orange, yeah. Trying to figure out which chenille stems I want to use. Do I want to use more of the green, the lime color, or do I want to use some orange? Combination thereof. We have options. See, I thought I had another one open. I'll do that because we have plenty of orange. Okay. So my rule of thumb for this, when we put the chenille stems on, is to go about 4 inches apart. You don't necessarily have to measure. You can eyeball it, as some of us say. You could also use your guides, your crossbars as a guide, and then just do the opposite, like in between for the other section. So we always do the middle and the inner rim. We always leave the outside for these projects. We leave it alone. And I'm going to, it looks like I might need to, and you let me know, you're watching out there, since there's some out there, you let me know if you want me to zoom in a little bit more. So basically what we do, in case this is your first time making a wreath, if you're a beginner, we want to make sure that our wreaths are nice and full. So we always go, once we have one rim done, we go in the middle for the other rim. So that way we have something in the middle to fill it in. And here's a tip for you if you haven't done these before. Unless you want to use the hot glue gun to kind of keep it in place in the middle when there's no crossbar, what I do is actually use my middle bar, the rim and the outer, and I run my chenille stem through both. That actually helps it stay together and stay in place more than just doing it without. And then just make sure it's nice and tight. And now you have the one in the middle. So I'm going to hold this up and put my hand there so you can see. So you're basically running it, the middle and the inner together, but you're tying it on the inner because that's for the inner rim. You could do the same thing with the corners. And what I do here, oops, but I grab both. Use the same method to get your corner, that way it won't move. And just do it a little bit lighter, not too tight, until you run the one for the inner rim, because right now I'm doing the middle. And then once you do your inner rim, it'll be pulling on it so it'll stay put. And I'll show you what I mean. Because right now it wants to run. Okay, so I mentioned earlier, we always want to make sure we have the one in the middle. So see how far apart these are? So we're going to go ahead and also do one here at the corner, but we're going to tie it off on that inner rim. But we're going to run it in between the chenille stem here to make it stay put. And I'll show you that. So we're running it. Let me know if I'm boring you. By way of comment. Just like showing all the different tips. There's so many different ways to do all of these wreaths. So once you have it tucked in there, you can kind of wrap it around your rim to make it stay in place. Just one little twist will do. Oops, just pulled on. Okay. So far, so good. Alrighty, how are we doing out there? So again, if this is your first time joining me, hoping you are enjoying this tutorial, having some fun, enjoying my Spanglish. Just seeing new tips, new different ways of doing things. That's always a good thing. If you are, just give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you're enjoying it. Okay, doing the same thing at the corner. Keeping it a little bit loose. And then once we do our inner, it'll pull it together. If you're watching the replay, for those that might be watching this later, please also let me know that you watched the replay, where you're watching from. I like knowing all the different areas where there's viewers just watching and enjoying the video tutorials. You could put it on the comment, replay, you know, do the hashtag replay and let us know from where. So as you're watching, is there any other word you would like to learn in Spanish? I know we mentioned the skeleton earlier. We don't necessarily, at least for us, there's different names. I know with for the different Latin American countries with regards to Halloween, it's not actually Halloween. We have different things. So that may be a little difficult since I'm not from everywhere. There may be other words you may like to learn. Okay. Looks like we're doing good, even though with the warning. I don't know why that stays up there. That started just a few weeks ago, and I'm not sure why. But at least it's not giving me that threat that it's gonna shut down the video. That other time that we tried about 4 or 5 times, I'm not sure which of you were watching, it kept shutting down the video, kept saying that there wasn't any data being streamed. Was the weirdest thing, because we were able to, my husband was streaming and watching TV, and so the internet was working, so we're not sure what that was about. And it happened for a few weeks straight. He keeps going in and out. In case you see me kind of looking around, he keeps going in and out, writing little signs. It's like, it's looking good, video's doing good. Brought me some water. He's being so nice. Because he heard me saying I was getting hot. So for next week, I'm already thinking ahead, y'all. Trying to think of the different projects and things coming up. I know time is just flying. But I thought about doing something for breast cancer, because October is right around the corner. It's kind of hard to believe, but you know, the way time it keeps flying. That we're at the end of July already, about, you know, to start August. But as fast as time is going, it's almost like, okay, we gotta think a couple of months ahead for our project, especially for those of us that do this to make some money on the side. We have to stay ahead of it. Because the stores certainly do, right? Alrighty, looks like this may be the last one. The wonderful thing, if I can say wonderful, about doing anything Halloween whether it's a wreath or a swag or a centerpiece, you know, flower arrangement, whatever we do. Because it's Halloween, we don't have to, you know, it's just, you could do whatever you want to do. Not that you can with anything else, or pretty much anything goes for Halloween. You make it wacky, crazy, scary, fun, cute. Doesn't matter. I think I'm making this one too tight. Maybe it doesn't want to stay put like the others. How are we doing? Oh, hello, Miss Monica. How are we doing today? If you just put these away for a little bit, we might need some more. So I'm going to leave them out. Just don't want them on the table because we need the room. Gotta spread out. Oop, I'm running out of room. I need a bigger table. All right, so I was saying we're going to be making a wreath. We're using a square wreath form, but we're going to be going diagonal once we start putting everything to give it the shape. But for now, we're going to go ahead and use our black mesh, and we're going to be doing just poofs to do our base. So you can gather it as a, like you're doing a ruffle. You could just gather the corners and then the middle, whichever way you like. Again, no wrong way of doing this. It's entirely up to you. Doing good? Good. Hopefully you'll get your sign soon if you didn't already. I know it hasn't been on its way for long. Okay, so for the poof, I always like to have a nice, I don't necessarily cut it to be straight because we're going to be hiding that anyway. So I go in between two stems and then I start my poof. And I'll show you why. I'll go ahead and I just like securing it. But this helps with hiding where you're starting. And got to have my grab a couple. These are too long. So what we do is actually secure it with zip ties just to make it stay put. Okay, so this is what I do. And all we're going to do is just secure it with the zip tie, but under one of the crossbars. So that way we know it's going to stay put. And then we can cut any excess at the end. And then just make it as tight as possible. Our cutter. Okay. And I like making sure that the little part that we cut off, the little that sticks out, always goes towards the top. You don't want it on the bottom, because if you're gonna, whether you're giving it as a gift or using it on your own door or selling it, you don't want to leave that part towards the back because it can scratch somebody's door. So that's why I always try to do it that way. And if I by chance do it on the other side, I just make sure I move it so it'll go towards the top. For our poofs, we're basically going to go about maybe about 6 inches. We want to make our wreath a little bit wider, trying to make sure my accent doesn't kick in, which it does anyway. Wider. because we want our skeleton to sit right in the middle of this. But we want to make sure it's nice and full. So as we go, we can go ahead and do our poof and just open it up. We're just doing our middle or outer. We're not doing the outer, but the middle rim, and then we can move on to the inner. You could always start on the inner if you prefer and then move to the outer. Entirely up to you. Again, no rules. It's just based on your preference. Now if you want the wreath to be even bigger, you can make your poofs about 10 inches bigger. That'll make it even stand out a little bit more. Since I know we're going to be adding some embellishments, I'm not going too big. Open, open, open. Gotta open the poofs. Now with these, when you make the poofs, they don't have to be exact. I mean, you can measure them if you'd like. Mesh is very forgiving. And I promise that even though they may not be 100% exact every time you make a poof, it'll still look good. The main advice here will be to open them up as you go, or if you wait until the end, you could do that as well. Just make sure they're all fully open, because that gives you more coverage. Let me know if any questions. I know this is pretty easy stuff. We're just doing poofs. We will be using some purple and some orange, some lime. We're going to use the lime to highlight our corners. We're going to do some ruffles on the corners. And then for the purple and the orange, we're going to be mixing it up with some curls and some poof curls. Just to kind of add a little bit of variety, to kind of add to the crazy, because it's Halloween. It's a Halloween wreath. Okay, looks like we just have one more poof after this one. And we can move to the inner rim. feel like having some music on the background so we can do a little dancing while we go. I don't know why. Just felt like doing a little dance. Just missing the music. It's just in my head. Alright. To move to the inner, for my beginners out there, if any, we do the same thing to gather our mesh. Do our same way of making a poof. We're just going to move it on inward. So you're just going to find your closest, whichever one you prefer, either to the left or to the right. I normally go to the right. And you would do the same thing to secure it. And then open up your poof. Okay, nice and tight. And then open it up. And then we continue doing the same thing all the way around, just like we did on the outer rim. Really? Oh, that's cool. I'm very much into Christmas, so it was kind of hard just doing, you know, the two little projects for Christmas. I was like, okay, it's just Christmas in July. It's not Christmas yet, so let me not overdo it. But I understand. I was looking at different ideas for different things for Halloween, because that's actually not my first for my list. But I've been enjoying just kind of coming up with different ideas or different things to do for Halloween. Because I don't like making things scary. I like for them to be fun. And I saw a very neat idea with having a skeleton eating fake foods and desserts and candy. And since I make the fake bakes and stuff, it's like, oh, now that is a neat idea. I could come up with different things, and it's like, you know, I don't know, death by chocolate or you know, sugar, like a sugar attack or something, and make a sign for it since I make the signs. And so I was having some fun looking for ideas. What kind of decorations do you normally do for Halloween, Monica? Getting my stems mixed up again. The foolery gets, the easier that is to do. I sometimes wish that we could be almost like, you know, the Zoom. You could hear each other talk, and it's not just a one way. You could see each other. I almost wish YouTube worked that way. It's like, I want to be able to hear when you say something, and maybe ask a question, make a comment, and be able to see see the faces and put them together. And I have to come up with something. Maybe we can get together via Zoom and do a project. Let's open up our poof. I think I twisted it a little too much on this one. Let's see. Open, open, open. There we go. I like how the black and the lime green is looking. I think that's gonna go well with the little neon spiders too, since they're the same color. Glow in the dark. Yep. I can understand that. Just a little bit of the scary. It definitely has to be fun. Fun, fun, fun. I thought one year, and I don't know why, my husband is more into Halloween than I am. And I was thinking of, we have these mannequins at work that we use, you know, to practice, you know, for CPR and different things. And as you use them, after a while, they start kind of breaking up. They start kind of getting discombobulated. And I thought, we had the legs, we had this, we had that. And I thought, you know, that would be kind of, I guess, scary, but kind of weird and interesting and maybe fun at the same time if we did like the Wicked Witch thing, you know, from the Wizard of Oz, and have the legs, you know, coming out from the bottom of the garage, kind of like the house fell on top, but it was the garage door instead. You know, he didn't like the idea too much, but almost did it. Okay, we're at our end. I'm just going to do this one. Last poof, and we can cut it. Okay, so for cutting, I do go a few inches out because, again, I like tucking mine in and then tying it off with a zip tie, just to make sure nothing will get loose after a while. Okay, and we basically do the same thing as we did in the beginning. We just find our wreath form and just tuck it in between the rims and tie it to our nearest crossbar. So I'm going to turn it over here so we can see. Here's our first one. And we're going to now tie this other one, and then we can cut them down. Easy peasy. It's just a way to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. And if by chance you're not able to make it really tight with your hands and fingers, you could also use the wire cutters to kind of push down on it while you're pulling on the zip tie, and then you could cut it. Just another little tip. Okay, now to cut it, I always leave about an inch or so. I don't cut too much because I don't want it to unravel or come loose after a while. I want it to last as long as possible, but I don't want all that stuff to be showing, so that even if someone happens to look at the back side, it still looks good. Now you could also cover it with like a placemat. They sell them at the dollar store. You can use those round ones. They have rectangular ones at the Walmart that you can use as well, and then tie it off with zip ties. That's another option to cover the back of it if you want to hide some secrets. All right, so here we go. So you can still seal the square even though we haven't highlighted the corners, but instead of doing just a flat square again, we're going to go with a diamond. So going to get our skeleton. We still have to come up with our name. Do we want to give it a name? Cute skeleton. So this is what I thought, was to kind of have him sitting almost right at the base of the wreath form. And we're going to use some wire to have him sitting right on there. And then we're going to fill it in with everything else. He's looking cool already. Now, I haven't even opened them fully up, so we'll still have legs and everything else to open. But I want to make sure that we can secure him before we start putting everything else on it. Oops, grabbed the wrong one. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to start with this bottom here so you can see it a little bit better. Remove our little plastic. Don't think we'll need too much. Cutting about, let's see, how long is that? About 16 inches. I'm going to be doing 4. So I want to put 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top, just to make sure that it's nice and secure. Once we have them in place, then we can play with putting everything else on there. Doing our poof curls and our ruffles. Has anyone ever done the poof curls before? Will this be the first time to see? If you've seen it on my other videos, you might have already done it. I don't know. But it's a fun one I like to use for Halloween items because it makes it look almost like there's a worm going in and out. It's a big worm. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to be using these here to secure it to the frame, and just using the wire to run it through. And I'm doing 2 so that I can do 1 on each side and pull. That way we can make sure it stays nice and snug and in place. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do first is just tie the wire in. Now you can double if you want to. I found that when you do 1 for each side, this one is actually very sturdy and it pulls whatever you're tying. I use it for the signs as well when I put signs on my wreath and the swags and so on. So I'm gonna have to get a drink of water now. So my voice is trying to get away from me. So all I'm doing, in case you can't see, I'm just twisting it on. Have a shorter side, just kind of twisting it around the longer and making sure it's nice and tight on there. Okay, once we have that in place, then we can decide, make sure that we're on our corner. So again, we want to go like the diamond so that we can have it sit right on that corner. So we're going to run our wire in between that middle and inner rim, and we can pull him to make him sit. We're going to make him sit. Okay, so I am going to turn them over just so that you can see what I'm doing here on the back. Here are my wires, and that way we can see. See, can you see him here? See, there's my inner rim on the corner, and there he is. We still got to come up with a name. I think it would be fun. So a couple of ways you could tie him here. You could just go straight around and just twist, or you can do it on each one of these, which is normally what I do. I like making sure that they're separate. That way if one pops, the other one is still there. But if you put them together and then it pops, then for any reason or another, then the whole thing will come loose. So for sake of time, I'm just gonna do a couple of twists here, and then I can finish tying him up later. And I'm just kind of crisscrossing it on that crossbar. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other. Just checking those little yellow alarms. Still saying warning, but it's working, thank goodness. Okay, so I will finish tying that off later. Right now it's fairly secure, even though I didn't do the full tying. Skeleton with the scarf from, yes, so glad you do. I like it too. I thought it would be something different. I've been seeing a lot of the round wreaths and the swags and different things, and I thought, I'm gonna do something different. Okay, so on the top side, still going again towards the corner because we wanted to keep that diamond shape. We're gonna choke him, kind of, sorta. There's a little hole right under the head, so that's what I'm gonna be using for tying him back, because that is almost, and actually we could even use part of the back, but I'm thinking, let's see, I'm gonna go with the back. There's some bones here on the back for the skeleton. Let's see if we can do that instead. I might have to figure out how to cover it if we do it that way. I think it'll be easier to cover it the other way. We'll see. We shall see. We'll see if we like it. I think the spider I'm planning on putting on there will cover that up. If not, we'll figure something else out. So I'm just gonna run the wire, do it the same way as I did with the other holes. Let's see, hopefully you can see. Okay, there's the first one. And once we have this tied, we'll do the same thing as we did with the bottom. We'll pull back on our skeleton and go towards our frame and find those crossbars at the corner, one on each side, and that'll keep him right where we want him. Okay, just gotta fill our way. Alrighty. Make sure I grab my wires before I turn him over. And we're gonna do the same thing, but on the top side. What I like about using this wire is you can kind of pull on your item just to make sure. If you pull on that wire, you'll be able to feel it coming closer, so that way you'll know if it's nice and snug without having to turn it over. But you could always do a spot check before you completely tie it off. Okay, I think that'll be good. He's not going anywhere. Alrighty. So now I'm gonna still leave him closed just for easier movement, because we need to move our wreath around while we attach everything else we're gonna be attaching. I'm gonna get our little chenille stem out. There we go. Okay, so another reason why I like having him, the skeleton, tied on there before we put anything else is that way we can make sure nothing's hidden and we can choose better where to place things. So, okay, where's my purple? There we go. So we're not going to be using all of this mesh, by the way. Never, never, never. If you do what I do, you'll be able to save on mesh, which is always a good thing. So if you're a creative, you use plenty of mesh. You need to make projects without having to use too much. Okay, we're going to need our rotary cutter. I'm going to put this out of the way for now so we can do some cutting. Oops, I'm dropping all sorts of things. We're going to need our orange. And I'm going to use my mesh roller because I want to cut them both at the same time. That way I can save us some time, because this is a little bit of a longer project, because I did not cut anything in advance. I wanted to make sure you were here with me. I'm going to cut this one to make it even, because this is one of my remnants. Okay. Just want to make one even cut. And then I'm going to bring them both through. Now, if you don't have a mesh roller, you can still do the same thing. Just put something that weighs it down so that way it won't keep rolling on you. With the mesh roller, it kind of keeps everything in place so you can tuck it under. And once you have them about even, if you can get them even, great. If not, you could always cut it again. But again, I like saving. Alrighty. And here comes the cutting. Okay, and we're just cutting to 20 inches. And you could do this a couple of different ways. You can count your stems ahead of time and know how many to cut. It's usually the best way to go. You can cut a few and then cut another few as you need it, or just cut as you go. These cutting boards actually help out a lot. Makes it a lot easier. Oops. Okay. So it looks like we're, oh, I don't like the ones with the staple. It tears it all up and then you can't use it. Okay. So, just trying to baby the mesh here so it won't get all messed up. So this is my remnant one, the orange. So we're going to use as much as we can of it. We should be able to get another 20-inch from that. And then some. Okay, so this will give us our 3 focal point. Good to always have that 3 on the middle. And then because we have a square, we want to have our highlighted corners. Let's see, how much do we have left on this? About 10, yeah, 10, 11. So we can still use this for something else. Woo-hoo. Okay, continuing on with the rest of our mesh. So we want to make sure we do enough coverage. We did 3, that makes it 6, so 7. I'm gonna make 10, just kind of, we may have to do 12, let's see. So we have 3 of the orange, so we'll make 9 of these. So that's 2 more, so 4 more. 4 more to go. And in case you're wondering how I'm coming up with these numbers, just kind of going by what we have already cut from our remnant. So I want to highlight that one color, just like we're going to be highlighting the lime. And we may not even get to do it all. Over, just 2 more. And we'll start putting some of these on just so that we can save on some space. Okay. Get this out of the way for now. We're going to need the cutters again once we do our lime colored mesh. Bring our Mr. Skeleton and back on over. Okay, so we're going to be making, let's see, let's find our 3. I'll put it this way so you could actually see him right set up. So we want to make a triangle basically with the orange. So I'm going to start with the orange. And I'm thinking I'll do 1 at the bottom corner and then 2. And to make the poof curl, all you do is just let it curl in the same direction that it wants to curl. And then you would want about 3 to 4 inches on each side. And this is where you're going to be securing it, where your hand is. And then this, you would open up that middle to make it your poof. So, I'll turn this over just for a minute. And what you do, you will leave that middle one, the one that's in between, you won't tie it on, because you want the poof to stand out. Okay, so that's your corner one. So you're going to skip it. See, I'm not putting anything there. That's going to be where your poof is at. And again, 3 to 4 inches is where you're going to secure it, because you want to see that curl. Make it nice and tight and do a twist. Now, this is normally where you would have your poof. You would open that up so that you have a nice poof there. But because we're making a Halloween wreath, we're gonna leave it, because basically once we're done, we're gonna have all the different ones going in and out in different places. It kind of makes it look like there's a worm going through type thing. So that's the look that we're looking for. You're welcome to open it if you want that look, but if you want the warm look and you just kind of want something there to kind of look like so, you would just leave it. And then we're going to do 1 on each of the other 2 corners to make our diamond shape. The purple one is going to come, we're going to do the curl on that middle that we did in poof, and then we're going to skip and go to the next one. So we're going to be intertwining the different poof curls. Okay, again, just curling it in the same direction it wants to curl. Now on this one, if you remember at the beginning, if you were with me at the beginning, I had mentioned I want to highlight the corners with the lime. So I'm not going to use this one because that's the outer part of that corner. I want to put that lime ruffle on that side. So I'm going to actually use the inner one. And then you could decide if you want to leave it there or have it go under. I'm going to leave mine as is because, again, for this one at least, I want my ruffle there and I don't want anything interrupting it. So then we're going to skip and we're going to come around to the other side to do our other curl. And what basically ends up happening is where you have a curl in one color, you'll have the poof, or in this case our worm, a little worm, my accent, I tell you, it's that Spanglish, on the other. So you have curl where your poof would be, curl where your poof would be. So it kind of alternates so you can have the color. So we're going to do that all the way throughout, but we're always going to place our orange first because again we just want the orange in the 3 different spots to make our triangle. And I probably should have, shame on me, cut everything ahead of time and have the base already done. Just to kind of save you a little bit of time. Let's see, this is where our corner is, so I don't want to use that one. So we're going to put it here. And again, all this is a judgment call based on your preference. No rules. We want to make sure this is fun. It should not be a stressful thing. So if it's stressing you out, gotta change something up. Skip. Aha, so this is what's gonna help us with the coverage of the wire. We'll have to position that once we tie it off. Okay, go ahead and do the other orange, so we'll be done with the orange. Aren't you glad? I keep looking at this screen and that this purple is looking kind of blue on the screen from what I can tell. But it's a pretty purple. I don't know how it looks on your end. I know it varies from one screen to the other. Keeping it all curled, we're gonna go ahead and skip one and go to the next one. So I am actually going to go in with this one just so that we can have another curl coming up here. Okay, back to our purple. If you're just joining us, we're making a Halloween wreath using a square wreath form, but we're going to turn it in such a way, or we already have, that it'll be more on the diamond shape side. So you'll still be able to see the square, but we're kind of flipping it, just turning it a little bit, just to do something different, making it a little bit more unique. To that, we added some poofs with the black deco mesh, and we just added some poof curls with the orange. And instead of opening up our poof, we left it curled up So it'll kind of look like it's worms going in and out. Worms. It's my accent. Somebody help me with the pronunciation. Worms. Worms. Just gotta keep things fun. Okay. So now I'm going to do a curl here in the middle of our do I want to go here? Where's my other corner? Don't want to lose track of my corners. Okay, there's the other curl. Okay. So we are going to be adding to this once we're done. We have some spiders and some bats. We have some branches we're going to be using to kind of extend it out and give it that scary, spooky look, I guess, but still keeping it fun. Okay, trying to make sure we don't use our corners. So I kind of want to go back this way. I think I will. That's our corner. Nope, I won't. Alrighty, here we go. We're just curling these in the same direction that they want to curl to make it easier. Come back this way, skipping our corner because that's where our ruffle is going to go. And I'm going to tuck this one under and then tie it off because we can. Why not? Right? As long as I can find my stem, there we go. It wants to hide. Okay. Make sure I twist that again. I don't know if I like it that way. Maybe I should put it above so we can. I was trying not to hide the orange since we only have so much orange. We'll see. Maybe we'll leave it for now. We have a little bit of fraying going on here. It happens when we cut our deco mesh. It's normal. Okay, continuing on, again, just curling in the same direction. High five. I keep trying to think of a name for them. Help me out. I said Mr. Skeleton earlier, but just doesn't seem like that's fun enough. If you're watching this on replay and you think of a good fun name to use, please leave it on the comments. Let's see, where do we need to go? That's our corner, so we can put more here. Make that a little bit tighter. Now that I'm looking at it, probably should do the ruffles so we can put some of these poof curls on top of the ruffles. Didn't think about that till now. See? The creative juices do start flowing on their own. Let's see this one out. Okay. We might just undo a couple and attach it to the ruffles once we do the ruffles. I think I'll do that next before I continue, just so that you can see what I'm talking about. Ah, hi, welcome back. Let's see, I think I had these at 20 or 25. Okay, 25. Okay, so we're going to be doing our ruffles with these. I'm going to go ahead and cut the edges because they are fraying a bit. And although it is a Halloween wreath, and fraying might actually give it a nice look. You know, one of those crazy looks. Just want it to look a little bit better. Okay, let's make our ruffle. Okay, we're just gonna get our thumbs to the middle and we're going to gather it. Okay. We're gonna go to our corners to put our ruffle, to highlight our corners, and then we can add on to our ruffles. Okay, so making sure it's nice and tight. Let's bring those edges together, make sure they overlap, so that way it'll give us that rounded look. To cut 2 more. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this fraying like we did with the other one. gotta change my blade. It's not wanting to cut as well. Okay, just gathering right down the middle. I'm going to our corner. I love seeing these colors together. Lime, orange, black, purple. So fun. All of those colors are on our main ribbon too, so that's going to be nice. Okay, again, just overlapping. I'm going to be bad and not actually put this on the roller. See if I can get away with it. Let me cut this off first. You could go 20-25 inches for your ruffle. Usually if you're doing the woodland ruffles, better to do the 25. I had cut another piece. Maybe it fell. So we may have to adapt and overcome and do the 3. Make it work. I was going to put a ruffle behind his head, but I guess it's not. It'll still be good. His head sticks out, so that still helps us maintain that square. Okay. Make sure these overlaps well enough. I like that rounded look. I want to, there we go. So let me turn it so you can see what it's looking like so far. So we can still see our corners, and this is why I wanted to put that lime color there. Maybe I could still get away with it and just do a smaller ruffle, just to have a touch of that color. Maybe I can do the, I'll find that other piece. It probably just fell down onto the table or something. With all the stuff I'm moving around. we'll still add some color back here. We'll add some little curls. Okay. We want to add more purple. I don't know. Looks like we have some good purple going around. So, in case you're just joining us and didn't see the ribbons earlier, here's our main ribbon. It's got all the same colors on it with the skeleton and pumpkin, which we also have. And then we have this one to add a little bit more of that orange and black. And we have some branches that we're going to be putting throughout as well, wherever we decide we want it, to make it look more fun. So we got witches' hats, bats, all sorts of things. But I think we are good with mesh. Make sure I didn't miss any spots since I was turning it over and over and over. So we got all of our poof curls and we're good to go. So I'm going to start cutting some ribbons. So we can do the ribbons first before we add our embellishments, our spiders and so on. Move these out of the way. Oops. Excuse me a second because I dropped the ribbon I need to use for his legs. And my bat. Okay. Hopefully nothing else will fall that I can't reach. Okay, we're going to go with our standard 12-inch for our streamers, just because we can. Why not, right? And one of these is going to be going in his mouth. Okay, so since I didn't count earlier, silly me. Looks like it'll be about the standard, so I'm gonna go with it. So we're going to cut these at 12 inches. And then we're going to dovetail them. Oops. Would help if I don't let it go until I go all the way around. Alrighty, so this ribbon, and I kind of wish you could see everything it says. It has spooky, boo, Halloween, eek, because it's got the spiders as well. Spider webs. deco. Pretty much everything we're using on it, it's on this ribbon. Now you can choose to do less embellishments or do more. We may not use all of them. As you know, if you've watched my tutorials before, I kind of go with the flow. H. Cooper, Crafty Bug. Ah, hello. Love the big skeleton. You just wait and see till we open him up. I have to keep him sitting on the wreath because it'll be hard to twist him around. That's we need to put stuff on the wreath. How are you? Thank you for joining us. So I'm just dovetailing to dovetail in case we have any beginners out there. I'll do the other one slowly. All we do is fold our ribbon in half to make sure our corners meet, and then we cut diagonally towards that corner. And that gives us that dovetail. I have more ribbons to cut, so you'll be able to see that again if you need to. I normally try to have some of these things already cut just to save on time. So thank you for being patient with me and staying with me while we do everything from scratch from the beginning together. Okay, I'm going to show the dovetailing again. Oops, I missed one. Okay, just folding in half, making sure our corners are together, and then we're going to cut together, or towards rather, that corner. Okay, we'll do that again. Folding and then cut. Now with this being again a Halloween, you don't have to make it perfect. Keep it fun. And I might actually use less of this ribbon. I might just alternate and do more of the other. We'll see. Keeping it interesting. Alrighty, so let's start putting our ribbons on, or streamers. When we have a smaller ribbon than the other, we always put the smaller one, or at least I do, on top, just to make sure that it's not gonna be covered. I do fold them in half so I can kind of see where our middle is, and I gather it right at that middle before doing any shaping and placing it onto our wreath. Easy peasy. Once you know you're not going to need the stem anymore to wrap anything on there, you can cut it or tuck it under, or just add those vase fillers onto them to kind of add more to it, which I probably will later, because that's just what I like to do. Now another thing with this skeleton, I mentioned about him being just kind of sitting in the wreath. to make it kind of like a variety, you could keep it that way and then every so often open it up, kind of to show like he got up and went to sit down, and just, you know, keep it interesting. I'm gonna start with my corners. And you could do the high five like I did earlier every once in a while. High five. High five. Give Mr. Skeleton a high five. Okay, I'm kind of starting off with my corners just so I can see how it's looking, but you can go start in one spot and go all the way around if you like. Again, no rules. It's all based on your preference, just the way it should be. Now, if you have a sign, you could also put the sign in the middle, kind of like under the rib cage. Have him hold it, then put his hands on the sign. I actually don't have a sign for today. And so I was thinking of putting maybe a pumpkin on there, but I'm not sure I want to do the pumpkin either. Oops. It's coming together. So fun. I don't even know where I want to go next. I want to go everywhere. So since we have lots of fillers, we can kind of play around with where we want to put ribbons and streamers, or streamers on. Because remember, we still have the branches, we got the spiders, we got the bats. So many options. I am skipping on purpose because of those fillers. Don't think we're gonna need as much ribbon. And what I'm thinking of doing with a different kind of ribbon, maybe do a small bow by his ankles. I thought that would be cute. So that when he's standing, when we decide to stand him up instead of keeping him sitting, we can see the ribbons dangling. Oh, sorry you weren't getting any sound. Can you hear us now? I hope you can. Like the ribbons. I thought they were kind of cute. I like this little one because it's got everything that we're using. And I actually didn't plan that. I had the ribbon before I decided to make the wreath. So it was perfect. I think we're actually good with ribbons. I want to start adding some branches. Let me do that. Some branches. Get the handy dandy glue gun. Oops. Get over there. We have spiders. It's gonna be so fun. Okay, I need to stop. I'm getting too excited. You wanna see him standing up? It's gonna be so fun. Okay, have to start getting that ready. So my thought was to have a spider coming out of his mouth. Now we can hot glue it in, or we can make a little hole on the spider and do some, we'll probably do both, to kind of have the wire on there to make sure that it stays in there. But I'm thinking the black one might be better to have on there. Like it's coming right out of his mouth. Maybe have it pointing towards the orange so it could be seen better. But we have so many options. Okay, let me get the little witch hats. I'm getting excited like a little kid. Oh, we could do this, we could do that. Oh, well, I'm glad you could hear us. I know ours has been giving us some trouble the last few weeks. We've been, sometimes it lets us do the streaming, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of weird. I don't know where I want everything. I just want everything on there. I'm gonna start taking these things off while we wait on the glue gun. So these branches, in case you would like to get them as well, I got them at the Dollar Tree. And they do call them branches. Yes, branch. So I'm gonna, they have them in different colors. I just wanted to have some more black. And it does this kind of number. I don't know if you can see that on there. That black stuff really comes off. But I thought we could have it coming out in different areas. We can cut it down to size or just leave it nice and long, just to kind of add to the crazy, because it is, you know, Halloween. So why not, right? Gotta keep things interesting. I'm afraid of just tearing it because it is very thin. Normally I just pull these tags off. Yes, they do. And it's surprising with the Dollar Trees. It's like one will have, you know, everything out, the other one won't. You'll still see boxes everywhere, or one will have one item, the other one won't. So you got to kind of check them all out. So if you go to one and don't see what you're looking for, definitely check another one out, because you just never know. And I'm just kind of putting them in different places just to see what it looks like. We're not gluing yet since the glue gun is still warming up. I should have turned it on while we were doing the ribbons, so it would be ready for us. And we could open these up because they are wired, so we can make it go in all sorts of directions. Oops. Almost knocked something else off of my table, y'all. Can't have that, because then I can put everything on there that I want to put on there. Yes, it's fun. My husband doesn't like it when I go to the dollar store. He says I'm like a kid in a candy store when I go in there. It's like I see all these craft things. It's like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. As if I don't have enough stuff in here. But they always have something new. It's always good to change things around. It's just so much fun. Fun to shop, fun to shop. Oops. That one doesn't want to stay in there. I'm gonna. It's looking kind of spooky, scary, and fun at the same time. Do they? Uh-oh, they're slacking. That's just wrong. They shouldn't wait that long. Oh, is he? Oh, that's fun. So if he's as bad as you, then hey, that makes it interesting. Don't have to control yourself with the shopping as much. Alright, is it doing its thing yet? Nope, not ready. I'm gonna keep putting them on there just because I'm cuckoo like that. I'm thinking I might, let's see. That could work. We don't have to put the pick on the witch hat. What do y'all think? We can take it off the pick and then put it on there. Let's see. That's just wrong. They shouldn't wait. They should do it all at the same time. How dare they? Let's see. We got the lime, we got the purple. I'm missing a color. Haha. Got orange, orange. All right, so we have our 3 witch hats. We gotta decide where we put them. I'm guessing where we can vary out the colors. We have our black spiders and our neon spiders. Okay, I'm missing a black one. Where is it? Haha. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm just having fun getting all these things together. It's just fun. This is another ribbon that has some of the same items from the other ribbon that I'm planning on tying it either to his feet, the ankles, or around the hands. I'm undecided. We may just use the ribbon throughout the wreath. Who knows? Just because we can. And here are bats. The pumpkin wants to go down on the floor. And there's the other ribbon I want to use for either the ankles or the hands, just to kind of tie it, to have a different ribbon. And this one says live, laugh, love. I do have some purple too. But we could just make a bow with it and then figure out where to put it. On top of his head, maybe. Just because. All right, glue gun, are we ready? Ready, ready, ready. Okay. So let's glue. So all I'm going to do, I'm not going to cut the pick or anything. I'm just putting some glue on it and I'm going to stick it right on in there. And we can spread that as we want to towards the end or as we go. Get these things from the top just so that we can keep on gluing. Glad you're liking it. I got stuff all over me. It's like using glitter. It goes all over the place and then you clean up and you're still finding it later. Ooh. Okay, I think I'm gonna move this one a little bit. Ah, good. I keep looking on the camera trying to see how it's looking because my view is a little bit different than yours, so I have to always look in the camera. But I think it is better. I agree, Miss Monica. Gotta spread them out. Spread the love. Ooh. It's getting bigger and bigger and he's not even standing up yet. I hope you're having as much fun as I am putting this together. It's really like therapy. It's just so much fun. Okay. Okay, let me move it. You have? Uh-oh. So you have glitter all over the place too, huh? I'm feeling it on my nose, my face, my hands. This stuff is coming off all over. Okay, last one. I think. Thinking of putting one in the middle, but I'm not sure yet. We'll probably leave that for last. Ah, glitter. Running out of room, y'all. It's getting big. Okay, let's see if he'll be able to put that over. Can we see him okay? I think we might need another one on this side. So I can't spread this one anymore. Not much anyways. Alrighty, spider time. Where do we want them? No, I want one. Open, open. I got glue all over too. I don't know. Let me, where's my glue? Let's start gluing. Don't want to glue anything directly on him since we still got to move him. I think we're going to need to use some wire for these. I'm not sure that they'll stay on there. I did. I actually knocked off some other stuff earlier and I couldn't get to it. So we had to change things up a bit. Yeah, that's not going to stay on. Okay, where's my wire? Gonna need to use some wire for the spiders. So, knowing that, I'm gonna need to make a hole, I think. Ooh, I like that idea. Rolling up the leg. Yes. Good idea, good idea. Okay, I just cut a little piece of wire because it is sticking with the glue, but I still think it needs a little bit more of a support. So I cut a little piece of wire so I can run it and kind of catch one of the legs and run it through the mesh, just to kind of give it more of a, to make sure it stays put. And I'm just twisting it on the other side of it. That way if the glue ever comes off, there's still some wire holding it together. Okay, for that one, I think it's gonna need to be longer. You're not alone. No, I knock things off all the time. And sometimes I'm here on YouTube when I do it, and it's like, oh, okay, there went that. So I just play it off and change the plans. Let's see. I think I can. I think I can. I'm gonna make a little hole. The things we do for crafting, right? Okay, so I did the same thing here. Sorry, I think I went off camera on that one. Just made a little hole. You really can't see it. So we can help secure it in his mouth. Whew, I have to let this go. Let me see. So I can use both hands. Don't want that to unravel. Open, Mr. Skeleton. Still don't have a name. I'm gonna keep calling him Mr. Skeleton. Yes, we do love it. Mr. Skeleton. Gotta open, open. I think he wants to bite me. So I keep trying to put this wire in there. All right, let's see. How far do we want it to come out? I think. Oh, yeah. All right. Think we got it. He's still trying to bite me, though. All right, and I'll cut that excess later. All right, we got 1, 2. Woohoo! Where's my other spiders? They're trying to hide from me. Okay, so we got to make sure, because I like that idea with crawling up the leg. Do we want a black one crawling up the leg? 1 and 1. Here. Thank you, Monica. It's fun putting it together. So much fun. Okay, just cutting another little piece for our other spider. And let's see. Let's save these 2 for the legs. So we have 1 over there too. Alrighty. So I need to, I wonder, do that on the branch. You can barely see it though. Maybe there. I don't know. I want them everywhere. Why do I want spiders everywhere? I don't know. Does that say something about me? I don't normally like spiders. I think having to stretch is kind of making it more difficult. Let's see. Okay, just saw that it was getting a little loose, so I'm running just a little bit more wire. Through the mesh. Except I'm getting glue all over myself. Never fails. There we go. Oh, hi Michelle. We've been having some fun. I've been going cuckoo. Making the wreath. Spanglish kicking in. I'm dropping stuff. Just having fun. Alright, I'm going to turn it over so we can see another angle, and then we can see about putting this other, hopefully that one won't fall, this other spider where we want it. Okay, it didn't fall. Yay. Ah, thank you. Okay, making another little hole. I'm gonna try that better. I think that worked out really good for the one we put in his mouth, just doing that little hole instead of doing the legs. We'll see. We'll see if that works in our favor. Woohoo! 2 Coopers. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna have this one going in a different direction just because they don't always go in the same direction, do they? Fun times, fun times. Just the way it should be. Alright, just making sure I put that wire under. Don't want anybody to get snipped by it. We staying on? Alright, they're staying on. We're doing good, y'all. Alright. Let's make a move. Gotta get those spiders crawling up the legs. Stay. I have cut the wire a little too small this time. We'll see. Oops. Okay. Just giving it a little twist to make sure it stays on. It's possible. Let's see. Yeah, maybe a little. Let's see, where do we want it? Let's see, if he's sitting down, we want to be able to see it. So I'm guessing it will be down here. Do we want it on his foot? That would be kind of cool too, wouldn't it? I have cut the wire too short for that. Let's see. It won't stay. All right. Let's redo that. Replay. I don't think it'll stay on with the glue without it being wired. Plan B. I'm going to try to put them up here just so it'll be further up on the crawling. Okay, I think the spider just tried to bite me too. I don't know. I'm feeling too many bites. It's a lot of biting going on. Alrighty, we'll see how that goes. We still got a couple of witches' hats. One more spider. And we still have the bats. I'm thinking. Wherever we don't have too much orange. I'm afraid I'm gonna put some glue on that stuff if I keep that up. I keep moving it towards the glue gun. Alrighty. I don't think we'll need any more of those. Where's my bats? Here we go. Where do we want the bats? On the belly, because he ate them. That's why he died. Let me turn him over. We able to see him okay? Can we see that back? I have to put a smaller one in there. But it would be kind of neat to have in his rib cage. Ah. Well, you have a good night. Thank you so much for joining us. It's definitely been fun. Okay, I'm going to turn off my glue gun because I'm thinking I'm going to do our little ribbon at the bottom, and we're going to stand them up and see where we're at, because we're pretty good. We could keep on stuffing the inside or get us a sign and add that in. Let's see. Trying to see which way I want to go. Kind of like the idea of the same colors at the bottom too. Let's do something crazy. Bye. Good night. That might be too much. Okay, let's stand them up. If we can put them all. Good night. I'm gonna stand them up so we can see where we're at, and we're gonna call it for the night. I might add some more off camera, but I want to make sure you see it before you go. There we go. And he can give us high five because his hands move too. He's chilling. I think I'll put one of the spiders on one of his arms too, but here he is. Good night. It's been fun, y'all. Thank you so much for joining in. Share the link with your friends and family so they can have some fun too, even if it's just to laugh at me. I had fun, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Be safe. Keep creating. Stay liquid. Bye-bye. Glad you love them. It's definitely been fun. Thanks, Monica. I'm gonna take a picture of him on the door and put it and post it so that way we can see the full figure, because I know we can't see it all. Bye, y'all. Good night.